Hello everyone, it's Modified Darvas Box, MDB, coming at you here on Friday the evening on September 27th. Got a number of stuff to show you here, but in a nutshell, I'm turning bearish, moving to the sidelines. I'm going to show you a bunch of reasons why. Okay, let's before we get into it, for any new people who don't know who I am, basically I'm just a regular guy who created a system based on this book, How I Made $2 Million in the Stock Market. Take a look at it on Amazon. It's a really great book, I think, for investing. But in a nutshell, I look for box patterns on the charts, and I buy the breakouts, the bullish ones, and I hopefully short the bearish ones. But that's the strategy in its essence. All right, well let's dive right into it with why I'm turning more bearish and cautious here. So first things first, the indexes. Main reason is the Nasdaq here broke down below its long-term weekly moving average. I use the weekly moving averages as a red light, green light system. If price is above the moving average, I'm bullish, higher probabilities. If it's below the moving average, then I'm bearish. I think there's lower probabilities for stuff working. In this case, the Nasdaq, while it's still in the box, yeah, it's now in the lower probability area. That to me is a caution light and something to take note of. The Russell 2000 is the same way. And 2 weeks ago, the frickin' Russell was looking like it's going to break out to the upside. Now here we are 2 weeks later, and it's crossed the moving average to the downside, and it's threatening the lower edge of its Darvas box. It's just unbelievable. It's like a ping pong. The last several trading days have been kind of miserable, just red, 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 a whole bunch of things, nothing you can sink your teeth into. And so this is index number 2, showing more negative signs. Third major index, the S&P 500. Yes, it's in its Darvas box and it's above the long-term weekly moving average. That's probably the only good thing I can find out of all this. I'm looking at charts and everything. If we lose the S&P, then all 3 major indexes will be in that lower probability state. So that'll be major caution flags if you haven't reached that conclusion already. All right. So another reason why I'm really bearish, cautious, whatever you want to call it, is the fact I just can't find stuff to buy under my system. There's just no suitable candidates out there. Well, I take it back. There was one, which I did buy, Square. And, for all the obvious usual reasons, big green volume. When institutions step up, you get the big green volume, and they've been stepping up in Square the last few days. My mantra is, when the big boys want it, then I want it too. So I was a buyer of Square down here, like low 57s, and knock on wood, so far it's doing pretty well. But beyond that, there's very little out there. One which caught my radar is Etsy, again because of the volume, green volume, and it had this giant green volume last Friday, and then this week proceeded to give it all back here. But because it got that, it's on my radar and I'm watching it. But nothing else out there seemed to be attracting the green volume. Instead, a lot of red selling and price depreciation, whatever you want to call it. Basically, things were getting their butt kicked all week. If you want to call this week an ass kicking, I wouldn't disagree with that. All right, let me show you my list of stocks that are still, quote, on the good list. This is my textbook Darvas box breakout list. And that's the other thing about this. This list keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So I remove stocks when they form a new Darvas box. I move that to a different list. But the ones that are, I consider to be an uptrend are very few. AMBA, Boeing, BA, DOCU, Keys, CHWY, SONO, Weight Watchers, WW, but that's it. And you know what? You know what's funny? You may be asking, like here, SONO. Uh, this had a really bad week. It was down a bunch from 15 down to 13. Well, why is this one on the list? Well, it's got the textbook breakout on volume, and it's above the long-term weekly moving average. That's my primary reason why this is on the list. And, I'm not going to buy this just because it's on this list. But the only reason I might buy it is because it might pull back into the long-term moving average. But there's just very few reasons to be buying. However, on the flip side, there's a lot of reasons to be selling. And I'll show you a bunch of charts on that. So let's look at the ones which were failures. COUP was one of the biggest ones for me this week. I got all geeked out on this one back on Tuesday because it looked like it was breaking out on big green volume. Well, the next day, frickin' a bucket of bricks gets dropped on its head, and let's say in 3 days it's gone from 144 down to 127. That, my friends, is an ass kicking. I don't know what else to call it. It's also closed a smidge below its Darvas box and closed below the weekly moving average. To me, this one's off the list now. Big red volume, yeah, forget it. But that's just an example of failures. Here's another failure. CVNA had the great bullish breakout, but something changed. Somebody flipped a switch, and now it's quite a ways below. In fact, my last stand, so to speak, if I was long this, would have been around 72, the top of the box. But it doesn't matter. It gave a signal earlier than that to get out. And now, just got to wait and see see what it does. Maybe it builds another box and breaks out of that one. I don't know. Another thing which went bad, MU, they reported earnings here, and I just knew MU was going to fail. It broke out of a Darvas box on light volume, then sort of went sideways, but just didn't get any big volume. And also, just historically, to have something occur on week 4 of a breakout, no. Most of the times, nothing but bad things happen. So I was worried that one was going to go bad, and it did. Disney broke the lower edge of its Darvas box after breaking out, forming one starting around May. I put on Twitter that I would bet anyone that I think that it's going to go back down to like 120 or so. Nobody was brave enough to take me up on that bet, probably because we all think it's going to go down, so nobody's going to win a free lunch, me or you. So, but we'll see how that happens. Cowards. A few things also that were struggling. Lulu broke out on the volume, and I traded this one like 3 times during the week. Each time I got stopped out, made just a very smidge of money. I'll keep buying it if it signals, but the positions are all going to be really small. So I probably won't be able to make any big money on this one, at least not unless it hits 200, and then I'll add in size. If I do buy things these days, it's all very, very small position sizes. Here's a failure, SEDG. Broke out on big volume after getting attacked by the shorts, but it looks like this week people maybe had some second thoughts. And this action dropping back into a Darvas box just negates the whole breakout. It's done, canceled. So you just got to wait and see if it forms up again. And sometimes they don't break out again. You just don't know. So that's another one to watch. And now let's look at the avoid list. There's just tons of stuff that just got hammered. AVLR, CHWY, CHWY, CRSP broke the lower edge of its Darvas box, and that moves over. CRWD just got hammered. CYBR just keeps downtrending. FSLY, red, lots of red there. MDB, my namesake company, looks like it has a date with 100, maybe below 100. I don't know, but just looks terrible. Plan keeps going down, but you get the drift on all this stuff here. So to summarize, basically indexes are getting weaker. Tons of stock charts are showing a lot of red, and there's just nothing that's hitting my radar and fits my style. And I do not trade intraday because I'm hilariously bad at intraday trading. So because of that, I'm just going to the sidelines, and I'm just going to be doing very little until the market gives me a reason to do something. So hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.